Are Pokemon cards a good investment? 2 years ago, we set out to answer this very question together through our Poke Investing series, and this is episode 10, where together we've been building a community portfolio where you guys have decided what we purchase and invest in each time, and we've been tracking our portfolio along the way. And so today, I want to share our findings and my thoughts from the last 2 years of Pokemon card investing. And while we do so, we'll be opening up the Scarlet and Violet 151 Ultra Premium Collection, which you guys voted on to purchase for our portfolio and open up today. Now, if you guys are new to the series, the way this works is you guys will basically vote on the product that we will purchase, and then we end up opening it here to see if we can pull the value back or even make a profit from opening that said product. So at the end of this video, you will see whether or not we made a profit or a loss from the cards that we pull from the UPC here. But then you'll also be able to see eventually the cards that we have pulled in the past and see if those cards have actually appreciated or depreciated over time. But first, let's take a look at the contents of our Ultra Premium collection. Of course, just the regular contents like the sleeves and the playmat and the coin and damage counters. I was able to find a sale of this for about $7, so we can kind of add that to the value of our portfolio as some locked-in profit. Now, this sale was back in November, so who knows if anybody is actually looking for these contents anymore. So it's hard to say whether or not we would actually be able to make $7 off of this, but we'll at least put that down as some added value. And then the UPC also has some additional built-in value with these awesome promo cards. I really love each one of these. First of all, you have the Mew EX metal card, and this is going for about $4.20 right now. Then we also have the Mewtwo kind of illustration rare promo card, which is kind of crazy. It's only going for $1.75 right now. I feel like that's got to be way undervalued. And then also one that's pretty undervalued as well is the Mew EX, basically the special illustration rare promo card. Such a beautiful card. I love all three of these promo cards, but especially the SIR and the illustration rare as well. Alright, but let's go ahead and get into our 151 packs. I still don't get tired of opening this set. It's definitely held the hobby up for the last several months, I will say. And I will also have to hand it to you guys. You guys do consistently vote on, I think, a really solid product to open up here for the portfolio, because I think of all the products out now, this is the one where we may have some potential of pulling back the value of this box, especially if we pull that SIR Charizard. Then we will definitely make up the value of this box and maybe even gain some profit. But even if we pull several of the illustration rares, like a lot of them are also worth quite a bit still, and even the full arts. So yeah, legends, let's see what we can pull from today's opening. But now guys, let's go ahead and pull up our spreadsheet where we've been kind of tracking each of our openings and each of the products that we have purchased. So the last thing we opened here was the Charizard UPC, and it was quite a while ago. We definitely have had a much longer break between these last few episodes, but I'm kind of glad we did that because it does give us the option to view our portfolio over a much longer span of time and see if things have actually appreciated or not. But anyway, if we look over here where we're at currently, we basically have spent $688 on all the products so far, and then if we add in the UPC today, it'll be $788, but we don't have that factored in yet. So far we've locked in a total of $148 in profit, and those are basically different things like bulk and different contents that we would have sold off and be able to make that money back, and even a few cards that we thought we wanted to sell. So as far as the card values, we are actually basically tracking this through a really cool app, which I recommend you guys check out, which is called the Collector app. So this app basically allows you to track the values of your collection, and it's pretty accurate overall. There's, it makes some mistakes here and there, but it does a pretty good job. And so basically the value of all the cards that we have kind of pooled and kept in our collection, or in this portfolio, I should say, amounts to $162.60. And you can kind of see here by the chart kind of how these cards have, appreciated and depreciated over time. It looks like we can just see up to 6 months in the past, but 6 months ago, we would have been, a little bit up from here, like 180. So now we're at like 162, but we're still up from where we were about a month ago. So yeah, you can kind of see, if we look here, we can see some of the cards that we have pulled over time, and we're showing just the more high value cards that we've pulled. But honestly, that's the thing, we really have not pulled hardly anything great from our packs for our portfolio here. Of course, we have the Charizard VMAX, was just one of the promo cards that we got regardless. This Dragonite V Full Art was a pretty big hit at the time, and I know this is a pretty playable card for a while, but I think it's about to go out of rotation. So this card has definitely gone down a lot. Yeah, you can kind of see by the chart, the 12-month chart, it kind of went up a lot probably when it was very playable, and then it's kind of gone down since then. Yeah, honestly, not too much crazy stuff. We got the Rayquaza EX from our Celebrations opening. This one has, been trending sideways for the most part, kind of just bouncing back and forth between like $12 and $7. So sitting right in the middle right now at $9. So yeah, guys, that's the thing. When you open up packs, you really don't know what you're gonna get. You really are taking a gamble. And quite frankly, that's one thing that I was really curious to learn from this experiment, because I guess my thought was that, I didn't think that we would really make money from opening packs. I think a lot of people have a feeling that that's the case, but I kind of thought that we'd come a little bit closer to maybe breaking even. I'm not sure if I expected to completely break even, but I guess my thought was, if you open up enough stuff, eventually you pull like a really high value card like the Moonbryon, but that just never happened. Again, we've opened up over 9 products, about 9. I think the one time we opened 2 ETBs at a time, so technically 10, and then 11 if you include the UPC here. And yeah, we just did not pull any of the chase cards within those 9 to 10 products. And so again, I guess I thought eventually you'll hit it big, but the other times you won't. But we just never hit it big, and frankly, that is something to keep in mind. You may never pull anything that great after opening packs. Now, of course, again, I've mentioned this before, that it's a nice feature of the hobby that even if you do open up packs, you do have the potential to make back a portion of it. So that's something you can't say about a lot of hobbies out there, for your you're spending money on something that you enjoy, but it actually retains some value. So that is a nice thing about it. However, if you're actually looking to make money, I think opening packs, I think we could say that pretty confidently after this experiment, that is not the way to go. But now, if we look back on our spreadsheet here, if we add up the value of the cards plus the value that we have locked in for profit, our total portfolio value comes out to $309.80. And actually, it is up a little bit from the last time we had opened up a product. So last time it was $284, so made about $25, $30-ish. I'm not the best with math in my head, but anyway, around there. So that brings us at a total loss for this whole experiment of $378.20. So we have actually lost over half of what we have put into it, which again, if you just factor in that as a fun cost, it's actually not too bad. But like I said, if we're looking at this as an investment, then again, opening up packs is really not the way to go. But with all that said, one of the most interesting things I feel like I have learned from this experiment, because we've actually have been tracking each of the sealed products that we have opened up from this experiment. We basically have created a separate portfolio, basically sort of like a paper trading portfolio, showing if we had actually kept all these products sealed, what would they be worth today? So let's take a look at that. Again, we said that we have spent about $680, I think. Let me make sure that's correct. Go back over here. Yeah, $688 is what we have invested as far as money into all these products so far. But guys, look what our sealed products would be worth today if we had just kept them sealed over the last 2 years. And again, you can see the progression here. You can see, of course, when we've added stuff here, but even from just the last, if you just look at the last 3 months, things have actually appreciated quite a lot just from sitting there. This is the last month right here. So let's take a look at, again, what we have purchased in here, because I'm curious to see just what has appreciated, what hasn't. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of us are not surprised by this, but our Evolving Skies booster box that we probably shouldn't have opened way back when, I think we spent probably $90 on it at the time, and or maybe it was $100, something like that, but it's now worth $445. So that really is carrying the value of the majority of our portfolio here. But some of the other stuff has gone up as well, like the Brilliant Stars booster box has really trended sideways for the longest time, but I'm a huge fan of Brilliant Stars. I think it's probably arguably the best main set of Sword and Shield, even though a lot of people think Evolving Skies is. But yeah, this one is up. You know, MSRP is usually 140-ish, 130, 140, but now it's at 161. So that's actually doing pretty well. Whoa! Let's go. All right, we got the Zapdos EX. All right, that'll help our portfolio value a little bit. Let's go. But back to what I was saying, you know, we're down on some things. We're definitely down on our Shining Fates ETB. That has not done too well. Same with Pokemon Go. People don't really love that set very much. And our Sword and Shield ETB, the Zacian one, hasn't really gone up very much. I think it might have gone up like $10, but again, if you were to sell that right now, if you had kept that sealed and you were to sell it, you probably wouldn't make anything after shipping and eBay fees or what have you. Now, one thing I'll show you real quick with the collector app, which I just found out about, is really nice. So one thing you can do if you go in here, so if we go into our Evolving Skies box, you can actually enter the price that you paid for it if you're tracking something like this. So yeah, if I look down here, I actually paid $96 on February 3rd, 2022. And so based on that, it's actually able to give me a profit for the total. So if we go over to my profile, it actually gives you that performance over here, which is a really cool feature. I've been looking for an app that will show this for the longest time. So it looks like like I said, we paid $288 and our current value is $1,254. So the return is $566 that we are up. So an 82% profit, really, really solid, guys. I don't know. I'm like honestly shocked by this. Like we've made back almost half of, you know, not quite, but almost 100% of our investment if we had just kept all of these products sealed. But if we go back here again, like you can see here, most of this is really carried by one set, which is Evolving Skies. We've opened it twice. Technically, we opened up a booster box and then 2 of the ETBs at another point. And so, you know, that's the one thing to keep in mind is if you look at all of this, obviously you can see we've made huge gains from investing, quote unquote, in sealed. However, a lot of the gains have come from just one singular product. Thankfully, like I said, you guys have done a great job, I think, of choosing the products for us to invest in each time. And so that has helped. I think if we had maybe invested in each of the, like every single product that has come out, as far as booster boxes and stuff, we may not be doing quite as well. Again, it would probably be the same result, that Evolving Skies would be kind of carrying us, at least in the short term. Now, do these boxes have the potential to go up over time? I definitely think they do. I think Brilliant Stars, you know, not investment advice. None of this is investment advice. It's really just my personal opinion, but I feel like Brilliant Stars is probably going to pop off at some point in the near future. Other ones like Astral Radiance, I think may go up eventually, but it could take quite a bit longer. Yeah, Shining Fates, again, I think it's still a good set, and I think it could go up eventually, but that one may take quite a bit longer. It may take, you know, 4 or 5 years before we see that maybe double in price, or even, I don't know, maybe even less than that. But let's say that we had invested the same amount of money over the same amount of time in other investments. Like let's look at just the S&P 500, the Vanguard index. If we had invested that same amount over time, we actually would be in profit, which is nice. There was a time, as you can see from our spreadsheet here, that we were not in profit, but it looks like we would be up $100. So like, as you can see, our sealed investment is actually doing better than our stock market investment, which is very fascinating. And then if we look over at one more alternative investment, we have Bitcoin, which has been doing pretty well recently. I don't know if you've been looking at the news. I think they just got a new ETF approved, which has helped things. Yeah, but yeah, Bitcoin is up quite a bit right now. And with this, we would actually be at a $325 profit. So we'd be doing pretty well with Bitcoin, but somehow our sealed investment is still beating out those two alternative investments. It's I'm honestly very shocked by this. All right, and today we're ending off with just a hollow Alma Star. So guys, I just want to share my final thoughts. Kind of after 10 episodes of doing this, after we've done this for about 2 years, I will say that I would have expected some of these cards from our openings to at least appreciate in value a little bit more than they did, but they really have not that much, which again, like I said, we've already established that opening packs is really not a good investment strategy at all. But even if you had bought a lot of the modern cards, that would have been a better financial decision than just opening up packs. However, like we've seen from our chart, we didn't really see a huge appreciation in any of the values of these cards in 2 years. Again, these are all modern cards. They still could potentially go up over time, but they really, a lot of times during this experiment, they actually went down in value significantly. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And then I'll have to say, before we started this experiment, I was not necessarily a believer in sealed Pokemon card investing, but after doing this myself, I really can't argue with the results. I feel like there is something to this. Now, to keep in mind, we've been kind of in a boom period for Pokemon over the last several years. Obviously, we had a huge boom in 2021 with the pandemic and the Logan Paul break, all that stuff that brought tons of people back into the hobby. That's when prices shot up enormously. But I will say, even though some people feel like the hobby is dying or whatever, it really is not. It's actually thriving a lot more than it has in the past. You know, if you look at the periods, you know, probably from like 2001 all the way to like 2016, the Pokemon card hobby was basically dead. Like, nobody was really into it except a select few people and some of the players. And during that time, you know, sealed product was not worth nearly what it's worth now. In fact, even some of the most expensive sets today, like base set, legendary collection, all of that stuff was way under MSRP at one point in time on the secondary market. So I guess I just say that just cautionary because we just don't know what's going to happen. This is a very speculative market that we're dealing with here. All of these boxes could just go to zero. Things could change in our world drastically. People could just walk away from Pokemon and not be interested in it anymore, and none of this could be worth anything. Like, that's a definite possibility. However, if you are somewhat bullish on the Pokemon card hobby, and I would say that I am, at least in the short term, I feel like, you know, Pokemon card sealed investing may be something to consider, and it's actually something that I have started doing just a little bit of. Now, I don't go out and buy entire cases of boxes. I just have bought a few booster boxes, a few things like that over the last year, I would say. But yeah, I don't know. Again, it's still very risky. You don't know what's going to happen with those, but it seems like it has been a pretty good store of value for at least the last 2 years and beyond. And I could definitely see it being a good store of value and possibly a good investment within the next few years. Again, this is not investment advice. This is completely my opinion, and I'm just trying to offer some of my thoughts based on the data that we've seen so far. Now again, we looked at Bitcoin, we looked at the S&P 500. Do I think that Pokemon will outpace those two things in the long term? Personally, I don't think so. The S&P 500 is basically all the top companies. In that sense, you're basically kind of investing not in a certain asset, but you're sort of investing on the future of humanity in a way, because it's basically compiling all these businesses and whether or not they're going to succeed or not. And so to say that nobody is going to succeed, that seems a little unlikely. I feel like there still will be a lot of companies, even if things go downhill in the financial market. I feel like a lot of those companies will still continue to make money and produce goods moving forward. So anyway, all that to say, the S&P 500 is probably still a better investment than Pokemon cards. And in fact, if someone were to ask me for a 20-year investment, whether or not to invest in Pokemon cards or the stock market, I would definitely go with the stock market in that case. And personally, I personally believe in Bitcoin. I feel like there's a lot of merit to where that's going. So I think that will definitely outpace Pokemon cards eventually. But as we've seen in the short term, that has not been the case, and Pokemon cards have done very well as far as the sealed stuff. So, but yeah, guys, it's all very interesting. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. I'm curious to know if you came to different conclusions based on the stuff that I've shared. Please, if you completely disagree, I'd love to know. Like I said, I'm trying to be very cautious in talking about this stuff because there are no guarantees in life and in general, but I hope that you have learned something from going through this experiment. But if you guys would actually like us to continue the Poke Investing series, please let me know. I kind of knew I wanted to at least make it to episode 10, which we've done today. So we may just end off the series here, but if you guys decide you would like to see more of this and you'd like us to continue tracking what we have been doing, just let me know that and we may do so. Alright guys, the final value of our opening today will be displayed here on screen, and the final value of our Pokemon investing portfolio will also be displayed on screen. Love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments below. Now, if you guys want to see more Pokemon card investing videos like this in the future, please let me know in the comments, and I think you may want to check out one of our previous ones here on screen. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to support the channel, and lastly, I want to let you know that no matter what you're going through, you are not alone. God is with you and He loves you, and we do too. I'll catch you next time.